going on, y'all? Joseph Morrison, aka Kojo Locs, and I'm coming to you with another video. This is a Loc channel, pretty much where I discuss Loc content, so if that's something that you're interested in, definitely hit the subscribe button, smash the like button on this video. It's gonna help out with the channel, pretty much so I can kind of spread this information around to others who are looking for it, well, just like you. Alright, so now that that disclaimer is out the way, let's get right into it. Let's jump right into it. You know, we want to know how we can grow our locks fast. You're probably someone who started your lock journey, or maybe you've had locks for a while and you're just like, yo, how do I get my locks to grow faster? I've tried this product, I've tried that. Someone said to mix this thing with that thing and I did it and it doesn't work and it kind of damaged my locks. Bro, what do I do to grow my locks faster? Well, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to give you all that information today in this video. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know, and I guarantee you that everything I'm going to tell you will work for you. In light of that, I want to say this right off the rip, right off the rip, I'm going to let you know this. There isn't a single product on the market that's just going to make your hair grow faster. And it just works for everyone. Like that's not real, you know what I mean? And 9 times out of 10, you want to think about doing things that are tried, tested, and true. And usually, and you're gonna find out in this video, it's the same case when it comes to making your locks grow faster. So, we're pretty much gonna break down the 5 things that you can do to make your locks grow faster. Cool? Sounds good? Let's do it. Alright, so first and foremost, I think we need to kind of get a sense of reality when it comes to, you know, just hair length in general. You know, in the sense that when you think about hair length, you probably know someone whose hair grows so fast, or you feel like maybe your hair grows so slow. But on average, in the course of a year, our hair is going to grow about 6 inches, right? That's kind of the average across, well, people on this planet, right? You can expect your hair should grow roughly 6 inches, and for some it's going to be more, for some it's going to be less, but that's kind of the average. So get out your ruler, take a look at what 6 inches looks like, and that'll kind of give you a rough reference or estimate as to what you can kind of expect, right? So if you kind of thought you expected more to be happening, well, now you know you're being a little unreasonable. Now, there's lots of things you can do, and I will say that the main thing that I want you to understand is it isn't just one thing that you're gonna do. In trying to get that 6 inches of length or more, or maybe less, you want to do as much as you can to help that, right? Like that just makes sense. The more you do towards that goal, the more you're going to achieve that goal. And that kind of goes with anything in life when you think about it. And it's the same here. Now that we got that out the way, you want to think about what things are going to help your hair to grow, period, just in general. And just like a plant, you know, you want your plant to grow. Okay, cool. What do you need? Well, you need soil. That soil needs sunlight. That soil needs water. That soil needs a clean and fertile environment that's going to promote the plant to grow, right? That's how that works. It is the exact same thing when it comes to our bodies and when it comes to our hair. Your hair needs a fertile environment to grow in, and if it doesn't have that, well, it's not gonna grow as fast as you want it to. That's just the way it is. And even further than that, you know, your hair still will grow, but now you're growing brittle hair, you're growing damaged hair, and you're growing hair that isn't just gonna be able to sustain the locks that you want. So not only do you want your hair to grow, but you want it to be sustainable, you want it to be healthy, and you want it to have a healthy environment to grow in, which, well, is your scalp. So going into that, let's think about ways that we can make our healthy environment for our hair to grow. So number 1, you wanna look at exercise. And I don't just mean, you know, a couple squats and a couple lunges. No, like you need to sweat, right? Sweating is pretty much what I should have called this. You need to sweat. And what sweating is going to do is it helps us to release a lot of toxins that are in the body from foods that we eat that maybe aren't the healthiest for us, or just from environmental toxins, even just being outside or, you know, touching certain things and getting germs and all those kinds of things that, you know, bring in harsh metals into the body, or things that are just not optimal for the body. Sweating helps us to excrete those things. So it's the same thing with our scalp. If we're not excreting those toxins, there's a lot of buildup in the body, and especially when it comes to our scalp isn't gonna really be able to, well, grow your hair effectively and efficiently. If we can kind of sweat and open up our lung trees and let some of that sweat out and let some of those toxins out, then it's almost like a filtration system where we're constantly kind of refreshing that soil or refreshing the scalp, and giving it a fertile environment for our hair to grow in, right? So that is number one. So I would recommend, if you don't like running, you can go biking. If you don't like biking, you can do a HIIT workout, right? So a little bit of resistance training, a little bit of cardio. And this doesn't mean that you have to go like completely gorilla and like do the hardest and most crazy workout, but you know, find something that's challenging for yourself. Do it a few times a week, or as much as you have time for. Do it a few times a week at least. Because I don't want you to say, well, I'm busy, I only have time for one workout a week. No, you don't. You can work out more than that. But exercise is super, super important, and I would recommend that you do that because it's going to help your hair grow, trust me. And I'll be honest, even with myself, so I'm a personal trainer, I work in the health industry, right? And I found that during this pandemic that we just had, and we're, I don't know, kind of still in it, there was a period of time where like I just wasn't as motivated to work out, and I wasn't really doing that stuff as often as I typically would. And I noticed that my hair was not growing as fast as it typically would. And it's because I wasn't really working out as much, I wasn't eating as clean, to be honest, and you know, being someone who's very in tune with my body, I noticed like, wow, my hair isn't really growing as fast. Or whenever I'd wash my hair, I would notice like more breakage in the shower. So I was just like, huh. So, you know, I am kind of speaking from a place of experience when I tell you this stuff. Like exercise really, really, really helps. So make sure you're sweating at least 3 times a week, getting your exercise in, and ultimately that stuff's just good for you, period. To live a nice, healthy lifestyle. So that's number 1. Sweat, workout, super important. Get her done. Number 2, and we are staying in the same vein of optimizing our health, because guess what? That is what is going to help your hair to grow. So number 2, we're talking about eating whole foods. Now, when I say whole foods, I'm not just talking about like Whole Foods, which, I mean, I do most of my grocery shopping there. I did that doo-doo thing again. If you saw my video last week, I said doo-doo, like as in like do, not doo-doo. Anyway, whatever. But eating whole foods. So essentially whole foods are foods that are not processed foods, right? They're very minimally processed and they're as natural as can possibly be. And essentially the benefit of that is those are going to be foods that are the most dense when it comes to nutrients. Obviously you want to be eating foods that are going to have the most nutritional value for you, and whole foods or organic foods are going to do that for you. Now that being said, it just doesn't mean, okay, well, I found an organic apple, so I'm just going to eat organic apples 9 times a day. No, you need to have a well-balanced diet, and obviously for me to break that down for you specifically, I would need to talk to you specifically. So I would just say having a well-balanced diet for each meal per day is very helpful. And very simply put, I want you to have at least 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I want those meals to have some vegetables in it, some healthy carbs like sweet potatoes and things of that nature, and some healthy protein like chicken, maybe a little bit of beef, right? Whatever you like, even some fish. And well, with fish, be careful because it's hard to find a good source for fish, but you get my point. You want to be eating whole foods. And again, the reason for that is those foods are going to be packed with dense nutrients, right? That your body registers as fuel, healthy food that's going to help your body to do what it needs to do, help your body to move and work as efficiently as it can. And what I mean by that is when we put toxic foods into our body like McDonald's or just super processed foods, for example, it makes your body harder to A, find the nutrients in those foods, B, your body's working overtime to filter out all of the bad toxins that are in that food. So now you're kind of asking your body to work overtime while not really getting nutrient-dense foods in, right? So that being said, you're gonna have low energy levels, you're not gonna be really as cognizant with your brain function as well, and going to the point of what we're talking about, your hair is not gonna grow that much. Because here's how the body works, and I guess this is a good breakdown for this point of the video. Your body wants to keep you alive. That's the number 1 priority of your body. Now, it's obviously capable of a lot more because we've seen people on this planet do some pretty crazy stuff, right? That being said, now the way that we're gonna be able to achieve our maximum potential is by putting the most nutritious things into our body while allowing our body to work as little as possible to do the things we want to do. So you can see how toxic foods or super processed foods go completely against that, because those foods have next to no nutrients and force their body to work really hard to expel all the toxins in those foods. Whereas whole foods give you the most nutrients And your body doesn't have to work super duper hard to break those foods down, because that's the most natural form in which the food is supposed to come, and it's the most natural way that our body's used to or would like to ingest and take in and absorb foods, right? So going into our scalp now specifically, if we're putting all those nutrients into our body and our body's able to work super optimally, now it's checked off the survival box. We don't have to worry about just surviving every day. We can do that easily. We can also have energy to work out. We can also have energy to, think our way through the hard meetings that we might have that day. And we're gonna have energy to optimally grow our hair from our scalp, right? Because we have the nutrients that are gonna help us to grow healthy hair, and we're gonna have the energy to be able to, grow that hair at the speed in which we want it to. So, really diving into eating a healthy and balanced diet is super, super important. And if you have any questions about that, there's a lot of people that I go to in terms of learning more about healthy foods. Obviously, being in the fitness industry, I know quite a bit myself. But another page that you can go over to is Melanie Morrison. She has a great page that she talks about fitness and nutrition and just ways that you can optimize the body. So go check out her page. She's on YouTube. She's on Instagram as Hungry Hungry Elephant. So if you want to know how to optimize yourself specifically, definitely head over there. But ultimately, nutrition actually is really important to your hair growth. I'm telling you from experience. All right? Don't say I didn't tell you. All right, so we're still talking about optimizing the body. I know, and you're probably thinking at this point, bro, can you just get to the point when you tell me the product to go buy that's gonna make my hair grow 9 inches overnight? Like, I just wanna know what product that is. Well, guess what? It doesn't exist. Yeah. And if it does, it's not gonna be good for you. So, if you're looking for that product, have a good day. You can just go look at another video because they might be able to tell you something, but yeah, you're not gonna get that here. So let's get back to the video. All right, so the next thing we're gonna get into is sleep. And now you're like, okay, bro, like you gotta be kidding me. But sleep is really important. So going back to the conversation that we were just having about health and optimizing the body and how optimizing the body will help the body to do the things it wants to do, which in this case is growing our hair optimally and effectively, well, sleep is arguably one of the most important pillars of health. Now, if you're exercising super well and eating super well, that's great. But in order for us to be good every day, or in order for us to be optimal every day, well, we need to recover, right? Every day that we go through our day, we're active. Even if we're not exercising per se, even just me talking to you right now, or using my brain, or looking around this room, or holding my body up with my muscles and my skeleton, all of those things take energy out of the body, and out of the mind, and out of our being. So the way that we recover every day is sleep, right? And one of the things that our body is doing also is, growing our hair. So the way that we recover, so that tomorrow the body can have an effective amount of energy to do that activity again, like growing our hair, is sleep. So really making sure that you get your healthy amount of sleep, and I'm talking 6 hours plus. I know some of us out there work super, super hard, myself included. Believe me when I tell you this, I'm not speaking to you from some throne saying I get 10 hours a night. No, I get 5. I'd say on a good night I'll get 7. But ultimately, that's something that I need to work on too, is getting more sleep. But I do know how effective sleep is for the body because, when I am consistently sleeping well, I feel great the next day. I feel ready to take on the day. I feel ready to do the things that I need to do. And things just feel easier. And that's how the body responds as well to doing tasks like growing your hair. And I know it might sound silly, but it really is. Having an abundance of energy really helps the body to do the little things that we don't think about, such as growing our hair, and such as being able to maintain a healthy scalp because we're putting good foods into our body and things of that nature. So really making sure we're getting a good amount of sleep is helpful. And honestly, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you methods of how to get better sleep because at the end of the day, we all do the same thing. We work super hard all day, we get home, maybe we're taking care of the family during the evening, put the kids to sleep, or if you live alone, you're kind of just hanging out. You're just kind of de-stressing, decompressing from your day. I get it. And you don't want to just go right to bed super early because you feel like you're not getting enough decompression time before you get back into the fire of work the next day. I get it. But if you can kind of scale back a little bit on that compression time, maybe give yourself an extra half an hour of sleep, and then progress that to an hour will be effective. But ultimately it comes down to your goals. Like, how bad do you want your hair to grow healthy? And if it's bad enough, well, get that extra sleep, because it's in your power to do it. You know it is. Put the phone down, get off the Instagram, get off the TikTok, turn off the YouTube. Well, after you watch this video, and maybe like some of my other videos. But then you gotta get some rest, okay? Because it's gonna help your locks grow. Trust me. All right, so we are optimizing the body. We are optimized, right? We're doing everything we gotta do. We're eating right. We're sleeping, right? What was the other one I said again? Right. We're working out. We are an optimal being. We're doing everything we can. Great. What's next? Well, we got 2 things left to talk about. One of which is essential oils. Ta-da! Now, this part is usually the easiest part for people because you're already doing things and using essential oils that's gonna help to kind of maintain your locks and help them feel good, smell good, all that kind of stuff. Mitigate itching, mitigate buildup, and that's all great. So really, just continue to do that. I mean, there's a lot of essential oils that are gonna kind of help to promote growth as well. This doesn't mean that just using those essential oils and ignoring everything I said prior is gonna make your locks grow, because, well, it's the equivalent of putting a drop of water on a burning building. Like, you're not gonna out the building. Do you know what I mean? So you need to be doing all those other things in conjunction to our essential oils, okay? So some of these oils are oils like lavender oil. Lavender oil is really, really good for soothing the scalp, also really good for lock growth and things of that nature. It's probably one of my favorite oils that I like to use, and honestly, it smells amazing. Peppermint oil is also a really good essential oil that, you know, kind of helps to soothe the scalp and help with itching. But it also helps to stimulate fresh blood flow to the root of the hair, which is really, really important. And, you know, considering what I was saying prior, if we're eating right, we're working out, we're getting our sleep, we know that we're already producing healthy, rich blood that's gonna help us to grow our locks. So obviously now if we have this peppermint oil that's helping to kind of stimulate that blood flow directly to the root of the lock, well, that's a benefit, right? Not to mention things like jojoba oil, which is probably the closest oil that we have to the natural oils that we produce in the body. So that's just gonna help you to basically seal in some of these oils and help to deliver some healthy, rich nutrients to your scalp and hair in general. And honestly, one of the last ones I would say is tea tree oil. Now, tea tree oil has a wide variety of things that it does for our scalp, such as helps to mitigate itching, helps to mitigate buildup, helps to stimulate blood flow as well, helps to promote growth. It helps to disinfect the hair, which is also kind of like buildup. So these are just a few of the essential oils that I like to use and how they help to promote healthy growth of your hair. Now, if you're a starter locker, you'd probably want to use these oils maybe every 2 days or every 3 days, or basically whenever you feel like your hair or scalp is getting really, really dry. If you're somebody who's a little bit more of a mature locker, you probably already have a moisturization or oiling routine that works for you, and that's great. But typically as you kind of mature in your locking process, you don't need to oil as much. And mature lockers, you know what I'm talking about. But those are essentially some of the greatest oils that I think are really, really helpful for hair growth and to promote a healthy hair environment. And I would recommend you put those into your regimen today if you haven't already. Now, the last one that I'm gonna say, and this one's really important, okay, so listen up. Leave your hair alone. Like you have your moisturization routine, you have your oiling routine, just leave it alone. Like, let your hair do what it's gonna do, and that's gonna allow it to kind of just grow in a way that it needs to grow, right? Because a lot of times manipulating your hair or always playing with it or always kind of getting in there or scratching your scalp all the time, like all those things just affect the natural process of hair growth. So you want to try and do as little as possible. And I know this one sounds kind of like a bit of a stretch, but it really isn't. It's almost like if you, again, I keep going back to the plant reference, but if you're growing a plant and you've watered it, you've given it sunlight, it has a healthy, fertile soil that it's growing in, but like every day you keep on going and like poking at the soil, or like you're touching the leaves, you want to make sure to see if it's growing, like all those things are just going to affect and disrupt the natural organic process that's happening, right? You want to kind of leave it alone, let it do its thing, and try not to be too controlling over the process, or try not to be looking in the mirror every 2 weeks to see if you've grown an inch or whatever the case may be. And that's one of the hardest things about this locking journey in general. It's just kind of allowing the process to do what it's gonna do. And as long as you're doing what you need to do to help that process, once you've done that, learning to take a step back and just let the body and let the hair and scalp do what it's gonna do can be a hard part. But I implore you, really try to just leave it alone and trust the process. You know, and I get it. Like, I've had moments where I've struggled with, you know, just paying too much attention to how much my hair is growing or feeling like it's not growing fast enough. And it's good to be in tune with yourself and kind of see and experience what's happening, but at some point you have to just let it do its thing and just trust that it'll get longer, believe me. Because even looking at like my 3-month lock video to my 13-month lock video and just looking at the length of my hair, I'm like, whoa, that is a big difference. When you're living in the moment every single day, it doesn't feel like it's growing, but when you really look at the journeys that you've had and you see the differences, and I'll just show you right here, pretty big difference, right? So trust the process, you'll be fine. And that's about all I got for y'all today. Hope this was helpful for you. I know these are things that were helpful for me along my way and still continue to be helpful. If you're out there and you have ideas of your own that you've tried and that you found success with, share it in the comments, please. Let us know what's going on. Let's keep this conversation going. Let's help one another out. It really, really benefits all of us, really. And if you're interested to see more of my videos, definitely go check them out. You know, a lot of stuff that can be helpful. Subscribe, like, and share this video. It really helps, again, with the channel. Helps me to kind of get this message out there to other people who are interested in getting this message, similar to yourself. And other than that, have a great day, y'all. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go do a workout outside. So I'll catch you guys next week on the next one. All right? Peace and love. Kojo Locs signing out. Peace.